Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a wife, mom of two, VBAC mama, and doula. Join us every episode to learn from professionals, special guests, and moms just like you, ensuring that you know what you need to know and discover things that you didn't know before. I believe in you. Let's doula this, and let's navigate the transition of entering motherhood together. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Entering Motherhood. I'm so excited to be sitting down with you today because I'm officially headed into the last trimester. I'm here, it's happening, and this is the final stretch with baby number 3. It's so wild to think that in just a few weeks, months, we'll be holding this new little one in our arms. And for those of you that don't know, we don't know the gender this time around. I'm still flip-flopping back and forth. I've thought girl for a while, but then I think boy. It's one of those things that's so hard to tell, and I felt so strongly with our first that now having both a girl and a boy and having that difference, but there was still so many similarities. And then this one is just a whole new mix in there. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. So I'm going to be curious and excited to find out what we are having, and we are waiting until they are born. So we will update you then. But this season of pregnancy can really just feel like such a mix. You are so excited, maybe a little bit nervous. Your body is changing. There's a lot of different things going on. And it's this like realization and this sense of, oh, wow, like this is really happening. So if you are there, if you are preparing for those last few weeks, months of pregnancy, I want to share some key things to focus on in that third trimester that might be helpful. Think of this more of as a roadmap, things that you can do for your body, your environment, your mindset, and just planning out things to help you feel more grounded and prepared as you head towards labor and birth and the postpartum period. So at the very end, I'll give you a quick little checklist recap if you want to jot down those things. As always, you can look at the show notes and such as well if that would be helpful for you, and you'll have it all in one place. And this episode is going to be super helpful for that. So number one key thing that I really want to talk about is caring for your body. Maybe we're in the groove of things. Maybe we're really paying attention and in line with different things that we can be doing and incorporating throughout our pregnancy. But this last trimester, your body is working harder than ever. Baby is growing more rapidly. Organs are shifting. You might be feeling more fatigued. You might have heartburn. There might be back pain. You could be swelling. There's all of these things that tend to just creep up in the last trimester that maybe weren't even present up until this point. And you're also going through different tests like gestational diabetes, GBS, maybe preeclampsia is showing up, your blood pressure is changing, things like that. So there are just a few simple ways that you can support yourself and care for your body. The number one thing that I would say in this category is prioritizing your nutrition, really focusing on protein, again, those healthy fats, iron-rich foods, and hydrating, making sure that you are staying on top of all of that. Try having little snacks available, maybe some fruit with some type of nut butter, or if you are allergic like me to nuts, then an alternative. We use a lot of sunflower butter instead of nut butter. Maybe hard-boiled eggs or smoothies, packing them in with greens, protein shakes, things like that. Making sure that we are moving our body, having some sort of routine of walking, stretching, prenatal yoga, keeping that circulation going, easing the tension, preparing your body for labor, practicing different movements, things like that. Maybe sitting on a yoga ball instead of your couch, trying different things, really moving your body, gentle movements, and really tapping into that intuition of how our body moves. Maybe getting some sort of body work incorporated in there, having chiropractic adjustments, pelvic floor therapy, perinatal massage, help relieve some of the discomfort, support optimal baby positioning. This can be really important in the last trimester if you are aware of spinning babies, balancing movements, doing inversions, things like that, like really trying hard to support having that baby in an optimal position, allowing space for baby and really opening up and getting in the habit of incorporating those things can be super helpful. And of course, making sure that we're resting when we can. If you are exhausted, if you are tired, if you have the ability to take a nap or a rest or go to bed early, whatever it might be, your body is literally building a human. So give yourself permission to slow down and take that rest in this last trimester. This is a really common question I hear a lot in the last trimester. You're saying like, why am I so tired? I wasn't this tired even in my first trimester. Why is it so exhausting? And the answer really is just because your body is doing so much work. And it's normal to have more aches and pains and things going on, but we can support it. We can support ourselves, and incorporating, like I said, nutrition and movement and body work into all of this is going to help with that. The number 2 key thing that I want to talk about in this episode is preparing your environment. You might have the nursery completely set up, completely done. You have envisioned what this space is going to look like, or maybe you're still working on that. But this nesting instinct really kicks in for many of us, and we get this strong urge to prepare our home for baby or what other environments the baby is going to be in. And so you might be extreme cleaning. You might be cleaning things that you never thought needed cleaning before. You might be noticing different things in your home that you want to fix up. There are many different things that could be happening in this stage when it comes to nesting, and we all show it in different ways. Maybe you are wanting to wash all the baby clothes and set up their sleep space. You have a crib set up or a bassinet, or maybe you're planning on co-sleeping. Really making sure that that space feels ready might be something that you want to prioritize during this time. Also, stocking up on postpartum essentials for you. So think all your pads, a peri bottle, comfy clothes, snacks, freezer meals, making sure that all of these things are in place, or at least you're coming up with a plan of what that's going to look like, how it's going to be restocked, where you want it. I always say, it's good to keep a bedside basket of some sorts, have these baby stations set up, maybe a diaper caddy to have, all your wipes and your diapers and necessary items right by you. And then also have a water bottle or burp cloths or snacks for yourself right by your bed, easily accessible. And then in the bathroom, making sure that everything is stocked and ready to go for you as well, whether you're doing the Depends or just large pads, or having some special witch hazel pad or ice packs or whatever it might be, making sure that those things are stocked and ready to go so that when either you come home from the hospital, it's already prepped and put together, or if you are having a home birth, it's immediately available for you there. And, if you are nursing or formula feeding, making sure that those things are set up as well. Having nipple cream available, having pads for your bra, having a nursing bra, having a pumping station thought about, set up. Or if you are formula feeding, making sure that you have bottles washed and sterilized and set up. You have a bottle warming station. You have ample storage area for you, making sure all those pump parts are there, your nursing bras are ready, and things are just situated and ready to go for that next stage, because we are looking for this to progress to that point. So having all of those things kind of aligned and ready and out of the way so that you can just relax and enjoy and be ready for when baby comes, and you won't have to do it or order different things. Once they come, it's already kind of there and prepped And then, like I said, too, if you are having a hospital birth, maybe you need to be packing your hospital bag. And I always suggest making sure that this is kind of set up between 34 and 36 weeks. It doesn't have to be perfect right away. You can just start to get things rolling, start making a checklist, start having those items semi in an area together. And even if you're having a home birth, it's not a bad idea to just have a small grab bag for the hospital in case things go that route. But making sure that whatever you want to have there is packed and ready to go and available for you so that you're not scrambling around trying to do this once labor kicks in. The third thing I wanted to mention is our mental and emotional preparation. This one is huge in my opinion. The third trimester can really be a mental game as much as a physical one. And some ways that we can prepare emotionally can be, like I mentioned in a previous episode, is having these affirmations and hypnosis available and as a resource, repeating positive thoughts like my body was made for this, each surge brings me closer to my baby. Things like that is really helpful. A guided relaxation track can help you practice being calm and calming your nervous system. Maybe also journaling, doing a lot of fear clearing, writing down your fears or your worries or whatever you're carrying, and then reframing them into more positive beliefs can be super beneficial. And then also building a support system. Maybe this is just, talking with your partner, having a doula, having a friend or a family member know where your head's at, what you're kind of thinking, and getting used to having those conversations. I also think it's super beneficial to find a therapist for you in the postpartum period that you are already going and meeting with prior. So hook yourself up with a therapist that you like so that if you need them, if it is something, they can kind of gauge and see the difference of how you were prenatally and then how you are postpartum and be a resource for you to lean on. So find somewhere in your community that you can be getting these different resources, or at least having a go-to person that you know is available if it comes to that. I just think in general, having a therapist during this time or some sort of group therapy program can be really beneficial in general. Usually around this time, a lot of people have anxiety kind of creep up. They want to know, how can I calm this anxiety? How can I stop these intrusive thoughts? There's a lot of different things like going on in that aspect. And usually the answer lies in creating some sort of safety through daily practices. Maybe that's breath work. Maybe that's affirmations. Maybe it is avoiding scary or fearful birth stories, and really just surrounding yourself with supportive people, supportive voices, putting yourself in that little bubble, and just embracing this time. Another key part of preparing in the third trimester that I wanted to point out is education and advocacy. The third trimester is also when prenatal appointments ramp up. The decisions about labor and delivery start to feel really, really real. This is setting in. You are realizing that you are having a baby and that baby has to come out. So making sure that you are either taking a childbirth education course or a refresh of that course. Maybe you had one from previous births that you can just flip through pages of if you got a workbook on, or if you took an online course. If you are looking for one, we have the Own Your Birth Childbirth Education course available online. It is completely online and accessible for you at whatever stage of pregnancy that you are at. All of our resources are there. All of the information is there. We have workbooks and checklists and resources and presentations, and it is all there. And we also have a private Facebook group that goes along with that you can ask us any questions. And by us, I mean me and Caitlin, who is the co-creator of the Own Your Birth Childbirth Education course. And it's just super helpful to have something to go through systematically that lays out all these different things that you may or may not have been thinking of, and just provides you with some touch points to really help prepare you during this time. It's also super beneficial to create or update your birth preferences list. This is another thing that we do inside the course. We go over your birth plan, your birth preferences, have samples and examples and outlines and things for you to really make sure that you are creating some sort of outline, having some sort of preferences. And it's a way to really just communicate what's important to you in your birth space with your provider, with your partner, with other people that are going to be involved. And it's just a really great thing to make sure that you have some sort of preference list. It might also be beneficial to learn about different interventions, pain relief options, how you want to be laboring, your provider's policies, and just becoming more informed with what birth will look like, what the practice that you are with handles things, how you can just feel more confident going into the birth space and what you can kind of expect. So really utilizing those prenatal appointments with your provider, laying out these preferences, having deep conversations if you haven't already done so when they're saying, do you have any questions? Having questions prepared that you know that are going to make you feel more confident and more prepared when it comes to the actual birthing process. And think about your baby's care too. Do you have a pediatrician lined up? What does that look like? Have you thought about this? What is their plan of action going to be? And really just making sure that all these things are kind of like in line and in check, and you're doing all of these things before baby actually comes, because most pediatricians do want to see baby pretty early on, usually within that first week, sometimes the first few days, and then it's very frequent in those first 6 weeks. So making sure that you have a plan or know what your options are and you're setting that up. A lot of people kind of ask, like, do I need a birth plan? Things don't always go as planned. Is it really necessary to get so detailed? And my answer to this is it's really less about having necessarily like a strict plan, but just knowing what your options are and communicating what your wishes or your preferences are is going to go a long way. So you don't really have to have, I want to arrive at the hospital at this specific time, and when I'm this far dilated, I want to have this and that, and these are the specific snacks that I want to eat, and this is how I want to lay when I'm pushing, or I want to be in this position, whatever it might be. Like, really just having some brief outline rather than a very strict exact plan, because birth doesn't always go as predicted, and we have to expect the unexpected and really kind of flow through these transitions. But when we know what our different options are, we have people in the room that are explaining all of these different options to us in the moment. It's just going to be so much more beneficial when different occurrences come up or different situations happen. And then the last key thing that I want to point out is the postpartum and life planning aspects. And this is really after birth, what is happening, because so often we focus all of our energy on just preparing for labor and just preparing for birth. And we have so much going on during our pregnancy, and we're so concerned about the nursery maybe. And that's what after birth is looking like. But this is really a very meaningful time, and it is a whole season in itself. And so some ways that we can prepare now in our third trimester for the postpartum period is really lining up support. Who's bringing you meals? Maybe you already set up a meal train and it is going to launch and start as soon as baby comes, so that people are ready and maybe doing their own cooking or planning and preparing. Maybe this is what's going to happen with your older kids or your pets or your house, if there are different things that need to occur if you are leaving the home to go birth your baby, or if you are staying at the hospital for a few days. Think through all of these logistics before baby comes, so that you're not worried, you're not scrambling, your dog isn't starving because you've been at the hospital for 12 hours, whatever it might be. And just have a go-to person for this and something set up for that, and knowing, where your meals are coming from, all those household tasks that might need to occur. And you're really just planning through all of these things. And then also just gathering different resources. Like I said, therapy is super, super beneficial and helpful just to have on hand as a resource. Maybe also researching and looking into different lactation consultants in your area, a pelvic floor therapist, maybe a postpartum doula. Really just having those resources on hand, those numbers available that you can just quick dial, quick reach out to, and you're not searching or interviewing different people in the postpartum period. You already have that list and those resources available. A lot of times I hear people doing freezer meals or preparing for postpartum, and they want to know, what should I eat post-birth or what's best for healing and things like that. And I have done a lot of episodes about this, and I'm really passionate about making sure that we're having nourishing foods, but mostly just focusing on warm, nourishing options, having some bone broth, stews, oatmeal, cooking our vegetables, even heating up fruit if you're having some sort of fruit in your oatmeal or whatever it might be. Pan frying that, heating it up, because when we are warming our food, it makes it that much more easily digestible and helps just get all the nutrients that your body needs and replenishes your body in ways that makes it smoother and easier because it is already warm and cooked and broken down a little bit more so that your body doesn't have to do that work. So you can look back on those episodes, and I will always advocate for that and make sure that people are aware it's super important. Don't be eating cold salads and smoothies and stuff like that, or trying to bounce back or get your pre-baby body back instantly. Really just nourish your body, rest, and replenish. And that's going to go a long way in our healing process. So just a quick recap, those 5 key things that we talked about today are 1, caring for your body, including nutrition and movement and rest. Number 2, prepping your environment, having some sort of baby space, postpartum supplies, a hospital bag, diaper stations, bathroom stations, postpartum things all set up. Number 3, supporting your mindset, having affirmations, journaling, doing some stress relief. Number 4, educating and advocating for yourself, building those birth preferences, taking a birth course, having those tough conversations with your provider. If this is not something that you have already been doing, make sure that it's getting done now in the 3rd trimester. And then number 5, planning for that postpartum life. What do your meals look like? What does your support system look like? What are your resources that you're going to have on hand and utilize? Making sure that we're tying all of those things in together and know that we're in that final home stretch. It's happening. Baby is coming, and you still might have so much time, and it might be a waiting game, but we are preparing and checking off those items on our list, and it's just going to make things flow and ease a little bit more. So that's your 3rd trimester roadmap, if you will. And remember that you don't have to do all of this at once. Really just take your time, take small baby steps, and try to just do 1 or 2 things before baby arrives. And it will make you just feel so much more prepared and supported. I would love to hear what's on your personal 3rd trimester checklist. You can come share it with me over on Instagram at Entering Motherhood. And if you know someone else who is heading into the season or who is already in the season, really just send this episode over to them, send it their way, talk about it, talk about what you're doing, and really just open up this conversation, because it's so important to be building your village, having these conversations, connecting with people, and always remember that you are not alone. You are strong and you've got this. We're doing this together, and I am just so excited. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you later, mamas. Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch, and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.